Greetings, it is I, Matt Hall, here with another weekly update here at Hidden Machine at the Hidden Machine Annex, our lovely second channel, which is home to all sorts of extras, clips, let's plays, stream archives, and more shit that I don't think is what I want to put on the main channel, but I still want to make, and hopefully, someone enjoys it. This is, like I've said before, kind of just a way to hold myself accountable to myself and to everyone else. A little production diary. There's so much fur on this microphone. We just put out a new video on microgames, the genre kind of established or popularized by the WarioWare series, but as I illustrate in the video, it has its roots in a lot of other games, although I think WarioWare is the first game to really double down on momentary action and go real hardcore in that direction. I just saw my neighbor go by on a children's scooter. He's in his mid to late 40s. So that was very funny. I have the window open here. I'll even turn the camera. You're seeing the full Hidden Machine experience here. That's very blown out. Anyway, the most recent video on microgames came out, and it's not doing like crazy numbers at all. But it's been going up a little bit every day, and I would love for more people to watch it because I think it's really one of the better things I've ever made. And I also, though, I had this like really kind of funny realization where it was like some of the games I'm covering have single-digit Steam reviews, or they came out in Japanese arcades in the mid-90s and then never got re-released, reported. So you know, I'm covering games that have almost no documentation online, no real big fan base, and obviously like WarioWare doesn't count. I'm talking about some of the games in this video, but it was just kind of funny to be like, oh well, if the source material is extremely obscure and has no audience, I shouldn't be surprised when the video talking about that kind of thing also struggles to find an audience. It's hard to really articulate like the comedy of that, but if you get what I'm putting down, it's like I think that's really, really funny. Just the kind of like, painting myself into a corner where it's like I put hundreds of hours into this video that some people are really appreciating, and I'm so thankful for them. But it's like, I the things I'm passionate about are what are going to limit my reach on a thing like this. And the goal here is to connect with people and tell stories and share stories and talk about games and learn about new games and, teach people about games, but also be taught myself. And it's easier to do that with something like Alan Wake, that has, even though it's kind of a cult classic, it's still, it's ballooned in popularity like crazy since the sequel. Very well deserved. But even, Remedy are kind of underdogs in a lot of ways, even though they've really been knocking it out of the park with their last few games. They have some stumbles, and they're still kind of like, battling this kind of like, they want to make weirdo art games on a big scale and also run a big successful company. And it's hard to manage all of those things and not compromise your art, which they seem very unwilling to do again after really compromising their vision on Quantum Break. And I'm kind of putting words in their mouths, but like if you look at all the interviews surrounding Quantum Break, they had a much more grand and weird idea at play there that they admittedly, kind of sanded down the rough edges and took a lot of the weirdness out. And kind of, I've also seen interviews having like a kind of aha moment with the ashtray maze in Control, that being like one of the most popular parts of the game. They didn't really think it would be. But seeing the response to that was like, very like, oh, this is very reassuring that like we can be as weird as we want to be and people will get it and like it. And that's just not easy to do when you're trying to make stuff on a big scale, you know? So anyway, then the video is not doing amazing, but it is finding somewhat of an audience, and I hope it continues to do so. I would love if YouTube videos had like a longer tail and like, you know, I feel like I put out a video, I can promote it for like a day or two, but is it whack to like promote a video I put out 2 years ago if I still think it's good and relevant? I don't think so. I think it's, you know, I feel like stuff should be promoted for a long time if it's good. And you know, it's hard to find an audience. It's hard to find anything online because there's so much stuff. You know, things get so buried so quickly. I'm still kind of like trying to understand how to do that. I don't really have that like down. What I think the parameters of that should be, or even the methods to kind of accomplish that. You know, how do I promote something from 2 years ago? Just repost it on Twitter? I don't know. Do a greatest hits compilation. Another thing I'll say is I'm trying to not sit down in the videos anymore. Now, I'll still be sitting when we do the Yeah, I've Playeds, because those videos could be anywhere from like 1 to 6 hours. And it's easier to have a conversation with someone when you're sitting and you can kind of ponder and pontificate and, you know, focus. And it's harder to do that when you're both kind of standing and you're fidgeting a little bit. But I think it looks better. I mean, you can tell me. I'm sitting. Or I'm standing and I'm looking pretty good, you know, or I'm sitting. You know, it's a small thing, but it's similar to, I'll pull this out. I don't like wearing headphones on the live streams anymore. I think that I look like a doofus. I think that I no shade to anyone, but I kind of think everyone looks a little goofy with big headphones on. It's kind of like the same thing as sitting in a big gamer chair where, you know, I obviously I have my office chair that I've sat in most of my videos. It's an ergonomic chair. It's very well designed. It was kind of like when I first got my work from home job, I was like, I'm going to buy an expensive chair. That's really well designed and very comfortable and won't kill my back. And I was able to get one through like a refurbishing program where like it's a used model that was refurbished by the company that makes them. So it's like drastically discounted, you know? But, you know, I was looking at those big gamer chairs and I just can't help but think like they look so stupid. Now, headphones don't look as stupid necessarily, but I think it's hard to not look like, I've said the guitarist from Linkin Park, or maybe like a character from like Jet Grind Radio or something. Yeah, or like, did Jamiroquai wear big headphones? It looks a little goofy to me. And I don't even like think about it that deeply, where I'm like watching an interview and the interview subject has like their big headphones on. I don't even think about it. But when I'm looking at myself, I'm not really like an insecure person at all. I will overshare. I will admit to whatever. I just feel like only God can judge me, and only if I believe in God, you know? So, you know, I'm not like looking at my appearance and like, oh no, I look so stupid. But I think things look so much nicer without, you know, it's kind of like when you're looking at a skyline. It's so much nicer to just see the sky, and then you see all these like telephone poles and wires and stuff. It's like, that's kind of hideous to me in a sense, where it's like, I don't look out right now at my window. I see some telephone wires. I'm not like, oh, that's horrible. But when you see it directly compared to a very clean skyline, you're like, well, this is nicer, you know? So I've been wearing, I got these wired earbuds, and I run it up my back, and I put one in, and obviously the cable's showing right now, you know, but I'll do one of these, and I'm trying to figure out, like, these sound not very good, but they were the only wired earbuds I could find. I'm not into Bluetooth stuff for audio. You know, having been someone who did a lot of freelance music video stuff, especially for artists, I got the track on my phone, play it through a Bluetooth speaker, and it's like the connection's skipping because they walked like, 7 inches outside of the fucking Bluetooth radius. Oh, I can't pair it. It's not pairing. What's going on? That stuff fucking sucks. I've had the same issues even with wireless controllers until I finally went out and bought myself an official Xbox dongle for some obscene price. It's only like $30 or something, but still, it's like, God, I'm running Windows. Can't the Windows controller just work without all this extra stuff? But I was trying to do multiplayer. I'm sure someone out there knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. I don't know. I know I'm kind of rambling, but my point is, I'm trying to find some better wired earbuds. Maybe an actual in-ear monitor that I could use at live shows as well when I'm playing music, but also use it for streams. But this has been nice. And also I think standing up is nice. Although I'm kind of got myself I'm kind of doing one of these. What would be perfect is a world where everything is wireless and it just works and you don't need mics. Things just pick up perfectly. Now, we used to use lapel mics, and that was kind of a bitch. It looked cleaner, but they are a lot harder to work with, especially when you have people with all different types of clothing on, people who don't understand the etiquette, someone with a beard. Ugh, I'm remembering our old podcast. Anyway, I used the wired earbuds on the TGG Plus podcast I was on recently with Your Favorite Son and Evan Prince. It's a weekly chat show, news show, covering video game stuff. I thought it was fun and funny. I like those guys. I like their videos, and I like chatting with them. Now, them as people, I could say a lot of things right now. No, I don't know them. I don't know them outside of those interactions. I just don't want to act like they're my best friends. You know what I'm trying to say? But they've been really nice and really funny and really sweet and easy to work with. And I truly appreciate them having me on. They had me on their old show, TGG, and it was the lowest viewed episode by a large margin. A large marge. And I was like, damn, I guess I am just repellent. But they had me on this one, and it got many, many more views than the previous episode did. Part of that maybe because it's also on a bigger channel now. They used to have it on its own exclusive channel. They moved it to Your Favorite Son's channel. Maybe you know the channel, Your Favorite Son. He does a lot of long-form video game retrospective stuff, but he's also kind of branched out into some other things like interviews and mini docs and stuff. Evan also does some long-form content. He just put out a Star Wars video that's really cool. That goes into a lot of the deeper lore. I love that kind of shit. Anyway, speaking of deeper lore, what's out right now on the Patreon is the Yeah, I've Played episode on Soma, a game that a lot of people have asked us to cover. We finally did it. Jordan and I had a very nice conversation. Getting wicked warm in here. I was outside earlier. We had a really nice conversation. A lot of theories get brought up, and it's a game that's so rich. Yeah, I can't even get into it right now. It's just like, we did it. We talked about it. I loved it. It was really fun. I'm glad I played it. Thank you to everyone who suggested it. And we don't normally do this like early access stuff, but I thought, well, it's uploaded, it's edited. Why not put it out there for the Patreon people if they want to see it early, and everyone else can see it on Friday. It'll come out on Friday. So just a few days, early access. Nothing that I think would push anyone to buy in. It's just a little thank you to the people who did buy in. And on that episode, Jordan is using an SM57. Now, this is an SM7B microphone, and I'll show you a 57. This is an SM57. Now, an SM58 looks just like this, but it has a little ball on top, a little silver ball. You've probably seen that kind of microphone. Very standard vocal mic. These I use more as instrument microphones usually, often for guitar or snare drum or something like that. We've used these for vocal mics. They're not good for vocal mics because they poof, poof, poof. You know, there's no protection on the, what's this part called? I can't remember what this part's called, but that part of the mic, there's no protection on it. So you blow it out with your plosives, you know, you pussy popping, you know? He's using one of those. When previously we were borrowing friend of the show, Austin Petrashun, my bandmate in Austin the In-Laws, we were borrowing his SM7B. I bought a used SM7B off of reverb.com, trying to save myself a few bucks. Ultimately, I saved $100 buying it used, but I didn't get a chance to test it. I didn't know. I don't use Reverb ever. I had someone buy a guitar for me through Reverb. I'll show this too, because I don't know, why not? This Kramer Vanguard guitar. Looks like it has dried cum all over it. I don't know what the hell that is. I swear I didn't bust on my guitar. I bought this same model guitar at a pawn shop. Oh, thrift shop, not pawn shop. I shouldn't say pawn shop. Or was it a pawn shop? I don't know. It was a weird shop. The shop's still around, but it's under different ownership now. Oh, wait, no, the shop isn't still around anymore. I think it's a sushi restaurant now or something. Or maybe it's a gem store, like a Wiccan store. I bought this same model guitar for a gag. It was like 75 bucks. I was in a joke band. I thought it would look really good in the joke band. It did. I wound up loving it. Just how it felt, how it sounded. I'm not like a huge guitar guy. I don't really know anything about gear. I just know like if I like it, I like it. And the neck was all warped. My memory could be a little bit off. I think I had to buy a second one of these, as well as a neck for one of these, like just the neck. And then he somehow cobbled them together because the original one was kind of bunk, and then like we sold off the parts or he reused them. Either way, this is not the first one of these guitars I've owned. It has also a big gash here. But that's the only other time I've used reverb.com was to buy this guitar. And it has a 7-day window for return policy, which I did not know. I thought it must be a month at least. So I'm 26 days in, finally plug in the mic. I do a video. I think it was the most recent update video. I even put a little like note, like, oh, I'm sorry if this sounds weird. I just got a new mic. I haven't like fucked with the EQ yet. Now you'll see on the back of this, there is little switches for like high pass, low pass. It's basically like, you know, it takes the high end frequency or low end frequency and kind of shapes it to your needs. I thought, oh, it must just be off. I got to go in. There's a little back plate here. You take it off, you switch them around. That wasn't the issue. And so I wound up being like, hey, I've used several different SM7B mics, and this one I just purchased from you sounds significantly worse than the others. It does not have the same like sonic profile. I know I don't have any recourse here because it's well past the return window, but I just haven't had a chance to plug the mic in yet. Now I finally did. Rather than just leaving you a negative review, I figured I'd just tell you like, hey, the mic is not good. You kind of sold me a bunk mic. I don't think it was on purpose. The guy said, send it back in, full refund. So that just got sent back off. Now I need to wait for that money to get back in my account so I can spend more to get another one of these. This is the Joe Rogan mic, but it sounds good. It sounds good. It's definitely an overused mic, but it's overused because it does sound fucking good. It's a good sounding mic. Can't deny it. There's other mics that sound better, and you can get similar quality with cheaper mics, but I like the consistency. I like the quality. The only thing I don't like is that the cover here does get really, really covered in hair. And when I tried to like sticky roll it, it like peels off the actual like fiber of the mic cover. So I haven't figured that out yet. But the next thing we shoot will be the Half-Life 2 I've played. And I'd like to get the new mic in before that. But the Half-Life 1 and the Half-Life expansions episodes will come out first. And then we will be covering Deadly Premonition as per, I think it was Will Ryan over on Patreon requested that song. I'm going to put this guitar away. I think I just said he requested that song, but he requested that one called Covering Cat Hair. Yeah, speaking of requesting songs, my group, the Joint Commission, my hip hop group, just put together this album called Wild Game. We got CDs coming out May 25th. I have a little release party show here in Plattsburgh, New York, if anyone's going to make it out to that. This is a collaborative EP. It's 7 songs with Lone from Malone, the rapper Lone, who we've collaborated with a bunch on other stuff. You know, see what's going on here. I am on a few of these tracks. I got a few verses. It's not my best work, admittedly. It's a fun, off-the-cuff kind of record. It was made in a little, like, whirlwind of productivity. But I did do the mixing and mastering and some of the arrangements. Kind of helped, put the thing together. I also helped to put this design together along with my partner, Ben Ryman, who was the guy I saw, my neighbor, on the scooter just now. I like how the logo came out. It looks pretty cool. Logo, I guess title. Logo is not really the right word. May 25th, the Joint Commission. I'll leave a link down there. I think maybe later today we'll put out one song from it as a preview. That could be cool. In other Hidden Machine news, Jordan and friend of the show, Sarah Mundy, last night started streaming Super Mario Bros. 64. Now, when this channel started, one of the things that Andrew and I did were these quarantine streams where I was doing all 120 stars and he was kind of my co-pilot. We did a ridiculous setup where I had 2 cameras going into OBS because we were dealing with all these latency issues. So the best solution I could find at that time, and I'm sure there's a better way to do this, I had one camera on me. I was streaming the game into OBS, and then I had another camera over my shoulder, kind of sloppily recording the PC screen, sending that to a video chat I had open with Andrew. And then his screen on the video chat, I was feeding back into OBS. I know you can just do like screen share through Discord, but like there's like weird latency with that. It doesn't always work right. And it wasn't working right for me at that time. And that could have been for myriad reasons, but that was a really fun thing to do. I think there's still a compilation on the channel of all my deaths in the game, which is kind of a fun watch. Getting 120 stars in that game was so much fun, and I hope that Jordan and Sarah can do the same. Sarah seems very committed to it, so I don't know if she's ever been able to do that before. She may have. I know her and her family played it when they were young, and she told a little anecdote last night about how they actually rented the N64 with Mario Bros. 64. Super Mario 64. It's not Super Mario Bros. 64. The bro is not there, all right? Bro is absent. Luigi's not in the game. Although didn't they eventually patch in like Luigi and Mario and shit for the like the DS port? I don't remember. That was cool though. I really liked watching them play that. Not sure, I've also been doing my New Vegas streams. Jordan's also been doing Fallout 4 streams. My New Vegas streams are just, no commentary, just playing for a few hours at a time, usually on the weekends when I get a little time to do that. Although yesterday I was kind of down, just not feeling good, not getting a lot of sleep, kind of needed a day to recover, and I spent a lot of time on the couch, and I installed Fallout 4 on my Steam Deck. It's so good. Fallout 4 is so good. It is not at all, like what I like about Fallout 4 is hoarding, walking around, finding stuff, sometimes walking for miles with my full weight capacity maxed out, moving very slow, checking out the wasteland, just seeing what's around, scavenging. It's like a scavenging game for me. I'm mostly into scavenging. And that's not really why I play something like New Vegas or any other like, CRPG. I'm in it for the stories, the lore, the decision making. Fallout 4, I'm really in it for poking around, shooting stuff, and scavenging, which is totally fun in its own way. It's nowhere near as deep as the other games, especially because, you know, we've talked about it a million times, but, you know, your choices don't really matter. You can become best friends with almost everyone up until the end of the game. Whereas in other, you know, in New Vegas, like, I was like 3 hours in, I was already vilified by one of the factions, and they were just like shooting me on sight in the streets. You know, obviously, like, the raiders in Fallout 4 will shoot you because they're the bad guys, but you're not going to like get on horrible terms with the faction in the first few hours of Fallout 4. You know, that's just not going to happen. But great games, really good games. And if anyone is like kind of like, okay, I loved Fallout 76 or Fallout 3, I love Fallout 2, I love Fallout New Vegas, maybe 4 was crossing the line for you, you know, it didn't really go in the same place, you want something else, please check out Wasteland 2 and 3. They really just play like alternate reality Fallout games. They're so much fun. Some of the best RPGs from recent years I've played. Really so good. Would recommend them to anyone, and I'd love to cover them on the channel with Jordan eventually for a Yeah I've Played. Some of the Yeah I've Played shows I want to do. Today I just downloaded a mod for the PC port of Killer 7, which is a game I've wanted to do since the channel started. We haven't really been able to fully cover it. We did a Let's Play with Andrew years ago that got cut short because our save file got corrupted somehow, and we had to restart our progress. Or maybe just the recording got broken. But at that point, it was like, well, we're doing the video. Like, what's the fucking point? You know? Man, such a good game. The mod that I downloaded is basically, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Resident Evil 4. Some of the cutscenes are like, they're like low quality, like MPG files or whatever that are like, they were put into the game at low resolution. You know, there's no like high res file that's then getting filtered down. It's just baked in low res. And that was the same issue with the PC port of Killer 7. There was a similar issue where they were using in the PlayStation 2 files as source, but the GameCube files were higher quality. And I just got a mod that puts the highest quality possible video into the PC port. So that was really exciting because this morning I was thinking like, man, I'd love to replay Killer 7 this summer. It's gotta happen. So good. Let me know if you've played that. I'd love to do all the Grasshopper Suda51 games for the channel in some way or another. Such good games. Definitely not for everyone. I could see someone being like, wow, I'm just not into this. But if you are into it at all, you're probably going to like almost all the games. Some are like visual novels, which I think are harder for some people to get into, understandably. But, well, that's a lot of rambling and sluggos here. So I just wanted to say, you know, thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel. And even watching these little updates. It's just nice to kind of just talk shit for a minute, think about where I want to go. I'm going to start editing the Half-Life Yeah I've Played today, and check out the Soma one this week at your leisure. And if you enjoy any of these videos, share them, please. That's the biggest thing I can ask anyone, is to like, share these videos with whoever, whenever. And also, I am so ready for the Night Springs DLC to get announced and for my life to become just Alan Wake again for a number of months. And then there'll be another DLC after that. Hi. There's so much Remedy stuff happening. It's very exciting. Now, they did just announce today one of their projects is canceled, but I'm not too worried about it. You know, it was very early on the concept stage, and they've got enough on their plate. So here's hoping everything works out well. Also announced today was Tango Gameworks and Arcane Austin, among, you know, 2 other studios were closed. That really sucks. Tango is one of the best studios that have been around and active for the past decade, in my opinion. They've also Arcane too, Austin. Arcane, Lyon is the French one, but the US one, man, they did some good stuff too. They did Prey. That's one of the greatest games ever made. Prey 2017. The OG Prey is also very good, but I haven't beaten it. I've played through about, I'd say, a third of it. It was very good. I'll finish it someday. All right. That's all. Signing off. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.